All right, today we are diving deep into a truly exceptional spicy carrot and ginger soup. But look, we're not just going to follow a recipe step by step. Oh no, we are going to uncover the specific techniques that take a pretty simple soup and turn it into something absolutely unforgettable. And this quote right here from the recipe's creator, this gets to the absolute heart of it. That "how is this so good" feeling. How on earth do you get that deep, cozy autumn flavor, but at the same time keep the soup bright and vibrant? It sounds like a total contradiction, right? Well, the secret is all in the technique. So, how do we pull off this perfect balancing act? Well, we're going to break it down. We'll start by building a really deep flavor base. Then we'll master the art of that silky smooth texture. And finally, we'll add the finishing touches that just bring it all to life. Okay, first things first. That deep, complex flavor we're after, it doesn't come from some fancy secret ingredient. Nope. It's built right from the very beginning with two really simple but totally crucial techniques. The first technique is called sweating the aromatics. Now, this just means gently cooking your onions and garlic in butter. And when I say gently, I mean it. We're talking 12 to 15 minutes. The goal here isn't to get them brown and crispy. It's all about patience. You're slowly drawing out all their natural sweetness to create this mild but deeply flavorful foundation for everything else. Look, we're all used to sautéing and browning onions, right? Getting that rich, savory, almost roasted flavor, but sweating is a whole different ballgame. By keeping the heat low and making sure you don't get any color on them, you get this pure, sweet essence that perfectly complements the carrots instead of just overpowering them. It's a subtle shift, but it makes a huge difference. And the second key? Blooming your spices. So once the onions and ginger are nice and soft, you'll sprinkle in your cumin and nutmeg and stir them around in that hot butter for, say, a minute or so. Trust me, this super simple step is an absolute game changer. And you're probably thinking, okay, but why? Why not just dump them in with the broth later on? It really does seem like such a small, fussy detail, but I promise you, it's the difference between a soup that's just good and one that's truly great. Because that one little minute in the hot fat literally wakes up the aromatic compounds in the spices. They become incredibly fragrant. And what that does is create this whole new layer of roasted, warm flavor that you simply cannot get by just simmering them in liquid. It's a whole other dimension of taste. So, our flavor base is built, the carrots are tender. Now it's time to talk about getting that perfect silky texture. But hold on, before we even touch the blender, we need to talk about how to blend hot soup safely. Okay, a really quick but super important safety note here. Blending hot soup in a sealed container is, well, it's a recipe for disaster. It can literally explode. So first, you have to let it cool down off the heat for about 20 minutes. Then blend it in batches. Never, ever fill the blender more than halfway. And most importantly, you have to vent the lid. Take that little plastic cap out of the center and cover the hole with a folded kitchen towel. This lets all that hot steam escape safely. What we're aiming for here is pourable silk. You want it to be luscious and creamy, but not thick or heavy like paste. And hey, if your soup does feel a little too thick, no problem. Just stir in a bit of warm broth until you hit that perfect silky consistency. All right. The soup is blended. It's silky smooth. It's got that deep, sweet, aromatic base we worked so hard to build. But now comes the magic trick. This is the part where we wake the whole thing up with a massive burst of freshness right at the very end. Now listen, these are not just pretty garnishes. They are absolutely essential parts of the flavor profile. The lime juice and zest, they cut right through all that richness with acidity and sparkle. The fresh cilantro brings these bright, herbaceous notes. And that ginger-chive cream, oh, it provides this cool, creamy contrast that makes every single spoonful exciting and different. And once you really understand what each of those components does, you are in complete control. You can think of yourself as the final editor of the soup's flavor. You get to make the final call. Think of this like your own personal flavor control panel. You get to turn the dials. Want it a little spicier? Leave a few more of those jalapeno seeds in. Really love that fresh ginger kick? Grate a little extra into the cream. Does the soup taste a little flat or heavy? A fresh squeeze of lime will bring it right back to life. You have all the power to dial in these flavors exactly how you like them. And you know what else is great? This soup is incredibly practical. You can make the base soup ahead of time, pop it in the fridge for a few days, or even in the freezer for months. Just remember the golden rule. Add the fresh lime and cilantro right before you serve it. That's how you get the biggest, brightest flavor pop. So, we've seen how to perfectly balance depth and brightness in this one soup. But here's the thing. These principles, sweating your aromatics, blooming your spices, finishing with fresh acidity, these are fundamental cooking secrets you can use absolutely anywhere. In sauces, stews, curries, you name it. So now that you know the secrets, what are you going to transform next?